From The Green Helmet and Other Poems by William Butler Yeats. His Dream. I swayed upon the gaudy stern, the butt end of a steering oar, and everywhere that I could turn, man ran upon the shore. And though I would have hushed the crowd, there was no mother's son but said, "What is the figure in a shroud upon a gaudy bed?" And fishes bubbling to the brim cried out upon that thing beneath. It had such dignity of limb by the sweet name of death. Though I'd my finger on my lip, what could I but take up the song? And fish and crowd and gaudy ship cried out the whole night long, crying amid the glittering sea, naming it with ecstatic breath, because it had such dignity by the sweet name of death. End of poem. A Woman Homer Sung by William Butler Yeats. If any man drew near when I was young, I thought, he holds her dear, and shook with hate and fear. But oh, 'twas bitter wrong if he could pass her by with an indifferent eye. Whereon I wrote and wrought, and now, being grey, I dream that I have brought to such a pitch my thought, that coming time can say, he shadowed in a glass what thing her body was. For she had fiery blood when I was young, and trod so sweetly proud, as 'twere upon a cloud, a woman Homer sung, that life and letters seem but a heroic dream. End of poem. That the Night Come by William Butler Yeats. She lived in storm and strife. Her soul had such desire for what proud death may bring, that it could not endure the common good of life, but lived as 'twere a king that packed his marriage day with banneret and pennon, trumpet and kettle drum, and the outrageous cannon, to bundle time away, that the night come. End of poem. The Consolation by William Butler Yeats. I had this thought a while ago. My darling cannot understand what I have done, or what would do in this blind, bitter land. And I grew weary of the sun, until my thoughts cleared up again, remembering that the best I've done was done to make it plain. That every year I've cried, at length my darling understands it all, because I've come into my strength, and words obey my call. That had she done so, who can say what would have shaken from the sieve? I might have thrown poor words away, and been content to live. End of poem. Friends by William Butler Yeats. Now must I these three praise, 3 women that have wrought what joy is in my days. One that no passing thought, nor those unpassing cares, no, not in these 15 many times troubled years, could ever come between heart and delighted heart. And one because her hand had strength that could unbind what none can understand, what none can have and thrive, youth's dreamy load, till she so changed me that I live laboring in ecstasy. And what of her that took all till my youth was gone with scarce a pitying look? How should I praise that one? When day begins to break, I count my good and bad, being wakeful for her sake, remembering what she had, what eagle look still shows, while up from my heart's root so great a sweetness flows, I shake from head to foot. End of poem. No Second Troy by William Butler Yeats. Why should I blame her that she filled my days with misery, or that she would of late have taught to ignorant men most violent ways, or hurled the little streets upon the great, had they but courage equal to desire? What could have made her peaceful with a mind that nobleness made simple as a fire, with beauty like a Titan bow, a kind that is not natural in an age like this, being high and solitary and most stern? Why, what could she have done, being what she is? Was there another Troy for her to burn? End of poem. Reconciliation by William Butler Yeats. Some may have blamed you that you took away the verses that could move them on the day when, the ears being deafened, the sight of the eyes blind with lightning, you went from me, and I could find nothing to make a song about but kings, helmets, and swords, and half-forgotten things that were like memories of you, but now will out. For the world lives as long ago, and while we're in our laughing, weeping fit, hurl helmets, crowns, and swords into the pit. But, dear, cling close to me. Since you were gone, my barren thoughts have chilled me to the bone. End of poem. King and No King by William Butler Yeats. Would it were anything but merely voice, the No King cried, who after that was king, because he had not heard of anything that balanced with a word is more than noise. Yet old romance being kind, let him prevail somewhere or somehow that I forgot, though he'd but cannon, whereas we, that had thought to have lit upon as clean and sweet a tale, have been defeated by that pledge you gave in momentary anger long ago. And I that have not your faith, how shall I know that in the blinding light beyond the grave we'll find so good a thing as that we've lost? The hourly kindness, the day's common speech, the habitual content of each with each, when neither soul nor body has been crossed. End of poem. The Cold Heaven by William Butler Yeats. Suddenly I saw the cold and rook-delighting heaven, that seemed as though ice burned and was but the more ice, and thereupon imagination and heart were driven so wild that every casual thought of that and this vanished, and left but memories that should be out of season with the hot blood of youth, of love crossed long ago. And I took all the blame out of all sense and reason, until I cried and trembled and rocked to and fro, riddled with light. Ah, when the ghost begins to quicken, confusion of the deathbed over, is it sent out naked on the roads, as the books say, and stricken by the injustice of the skies for punishment. End of poem. Peace by William Butler Yeats. Ah, that time could touch a form that could show what Homer's age bred to be a hero's wage. Were not all her life but storm, would not painters paint a form of such noble lines, I said, such a delicate high head, so much sternness and such charm, till they had changed us to like strength. Ah, but peace that comes at length came when time had touched her form. End of poem. Against Unworthy Praise by William Butler Yeats. O heart, be at peace, because nor knave nor dolt can break what's not for their applause, being for a woman's sake. Enough if the work has seemed, so did she your strength renew, a dream that a lion had dreamed, till the wilderness cried aloud, a secret between you two, between the proud and the proud. What, still you would have their praise. But here is a haughtier text, the labyrinth of her days, that her own strangeness perplexed, and how what her dreaming gave earned slander, ingratitude, from self-same dolt and knave, aye, and worse wrong than these. Yet she, singing upon her road, half lion, half child, is at peace. End of poem. The Fascination of What's Difficult by William Butler Yeats. The fascination of what's difficult has dried the sap out of my veins, and rent spontaneous joy and natural content out of my heart. There's something ails our colt that must, as if it had not holy blood, nor on an Olympus leaped from cloud to cloud, shiver under the lash, strain, sweat, and jolt, as though it dragged road metal. My curse on plays that have to be set up in 50 ways, on the day's war with every knave and dolt, theatre business, management of men. I swear, before the dawn comes round again, I'll find the stable and pull out the bolt. End of poem. A Drinking Song by William Butler Yeats. Wine comes in at the mouth, and love comes in at the eye. That's all we shall know for truth before we grow old and die. I lift the glass to my mouth, I look at you, and I sigh. End of poem. The Coming of Wisdom with Time by William Butler Yeats. Though leaves are many, the root is one. Through all the lying days of my youth, I swayed my leaves and flowers in the sun. Now I may wither into the truth. End of poem. On hearing that the students of our new university have joined the ancient order of Hibernians and the agitation against immoral literature, by William Butler Yeats. Where but here have pride and truth that long to give themselves for wage, to shake their wicked sides at youth, restraining reckless middle age. End of poem. To a poet who would have me praise certain bad poets, imitators of his and mine, by William Butler Yeats. You say, as I have often given tongue in praise of what another's said or sung, 'twere politic to do the like by these. But where's the wild dog that has praised his fleas? End of poem. The Attack on the Playboy by William Butler Yeats. Once, when midnight smote the air, eunuchs ran through hell, and met round about hell's gate, to stare at great Juan riding by, and like these to rail and sweat, maddened by that sinewy thigh. End of poem. A lyric from an unpublished play by William Butler Yeats. Put off that mask of burning gold with emerald eyes. Oh no, my dear, you make so bold to find if hearts be wild and wise, and yet not cold. I would but find what's there to find, love or deceit. It was the mask engaged your mind, and after set your heart to beat, not what's behind. But lest you are my enemy, I must inquire. Oh no, my dear, let all that be. What matter, so there is but fire in you, in me? End of poem. Upon a House Shaken by the Land Agitation by William Butler Yeats. How should the world be luckier if this house, where passion and precision have been one time out of mind, became too ruinous to breed the lidless eye that loves the sun, and the sweet laughing eagle thoughts that grow where wings have memory of wings, and all that comes of the best knit to the best. Although mean roof trees were the sturdier for its fall, how should their luck run high enough to reach the gifts that govern men, and after these to gradual time's last gift, a written speech wrought of high laughter, loveliness, and ease? End of poem. At the Abbey Theatre by William Butler Yeats. Imitated from Ronsard. Dear Creven Evan, look into our case. When we are high and airy, hundreds say that if we hold that flight, they'll leave the place, while those same hundreds mock another day because we've made our art of common things so bitterly you dream they longed to look all their lives through into some drift of wings. You've dandled them and fed them from the book and know them to the bone. Impart on us, we'll keep the secret, a new trick to please. Is there a bridle for this Proteus that turns and changes like his draughty seas? Or is there none, most popular of men, but when they mock us, that we mock again? End of poem. These Are the Clouds by William Butler Yeats. These are the clouds about the fallen sun, the majesty that shuts his burning eye. The weak lay hand on what the strong has done, till that be tumbled that was lifted high, and discord follow upon unison, and all things at one common level lie. And therefore, friend, if your great race were run, and these things came, so much the more thereby have you made greatness your companion, although it be for children that you sigh. These are the clouds about the fallen sun, the majesty that shuts his burning eye. End of poem. At Galway Races by William Butler Yeats. Out yonder where the race course is, delight makes all of the one mind, riders upon the swift horses, the field that closes in behind. We too had good attendants once, hearers and hearteners of the work, aye, horsemen for companions, before the merchant and the clerk breathed on the world with timid breath. Sing on, sometime and at some new moon we'll learn that sleeping is not death, hearing the whole earth change its tune, its flesh being wild, and it again crying aloud as the race course is. And we find hearteners among men that ride upon horses. End of poem. A Friend's Illness by William Butler Yeats. Sickness brought me this thought in that scale of his. Why should I be dismayed, though flame had burned the whole world as if it were a coal? Now I have seen it weighed against the soul. End of poem. All Things Can Tempt Me by William Butler Yeats. All things can tempt me from this craft of verse. One time it was a woman's face, or worse, the seeming needs of my fool-driven land. Now nothing but comes readier to the hand than this accustomed toil. When I was young I had not given a penny for a song, did not the poet sing it with such airs that one believed he had a sword upstairs. Yet would be now, could I but have my wish, colder and dumber and deafer than a fish. End of poem. The Young Man's Song by William Butler Yeats. I whispered, I am too young, and then I am old enough. Wherefore I threw a penny to find out if I might love. Go and love, young man, if the lady be young and fair. Ah, penny, brown penny, brown penny, I am looped in the loops of her hair. Oh, love is the crooked thing. There is nobody wise enough to find out all that is in it, for he would be thinking of love till the stars had run away and the shadows eaten the moon. Ah, penny, brown penny, brown penny, one cannot begin it too soon. End of poem. End of From the Green Helmet and Other Poems by William Butler Yeats.